Ladies and gentlemen, we are just months away from actually being able to have a Nintendo Switch 2 in hands and playing it and experiencing all these new games. I am very excited for the third-party games, like really excited, but I'm also really excited to see what kind of new first-party games we're going to get. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the games that I would personally like to see make an appearance on the Nintendo Switch 2, so let's just go ahead and get right into this video. I actually think the opportunities are truly endless of what we could see on a Nintendo Switch 2, and looking back at the Switch, there are so many games that I think are pretty underrated, and just getting them on the Switch 2 are kind of like a miracle, like Skyrim, and The Witcher, and Doom, and Wolfenstein, and stuff like that. I think that's pretty underrated, and we kind of just gloss over that, but the Switch 2 is going to be a lot more powerful. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to keep it Nintendo exclusive because I'm sure there's going to be third-party stuff that's just going to blow me away. But in this video, I'm only going to talk about Nintendo exclusive games I really want to make an appearance. And this list I wrote out right here, I actually think almost all of these could make an appearance. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. I know a bunch of other YouTubers say that as well, but every subscribe, like, follow on social media, it really means the world to me because it means our community is growing. And let's just go ahead and get right into this. So I want to say a couple things that are kind of controversial right away. I do not care about seeing Star Fox or Kid Icarus at all. Like if that shows up on the Switch 2, cool. If it doesn't, I won't miss it at all. Also F-Zero, if that shows up, that would be cool. I did like the F-Zero 99 game, and I hope that got played enough that Nintendo sees we do want something like that. Because we got Fast RMX when it's like, whoa, this game looks like F-Zero, but it's not F-Zero. I don't know the reasoning there. So now that we have all that out of the way, the first thing that I would love to see is a classic Zelda game remade in the style of Link's Awakening. And if I had to pick any games to be remade this way, I would say either Oracle of Ages or Oracle of Seasons, but I'm not sure how that would work with them being two different games. You know what I mean? Like, you're pretty much getting the same experience no matter which game you play. Just like in Pokemon games, you're getting the same experience. But would they release two different versions of the same game, basically? Or would they just make it one package? You know what I mean? Like, The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages and Seasons remake. But if not that game, I think A Link to the Past would be incredible as well. I do think A Link to the Past holds up incredibly well. Don't get me wrong. I went back and played it, I think in 2022 or 2023 for the very first time ever, and it easily became one of my favorite Zelda games of all time. But I definitely think it would benefit from being remade in the same ways as Link's Awakening was. Or just let me say something completely dumb right now. Something that sounds so stupid. What about a Zelda 2 remake? So I'll be honest, from the Pokemon Legends EA gameplay trailer or the new trailer, I'm actually optimistic. You know, I'm a lifelong fan. I've been playing it since it was created, you know, and I really do enjoy it. And Scarlet and Violet, while it was a mess, I still enjoyed that. So I think I'm really going to enjoy Pokemon Legends EA as well. But I yearn for pixelated graphics and 2D games. And something that I think would, I don't know how it could be a bad thing. And I do admit at the same time that I do think the style of games is getting done a little too much, kind of. Whenever RPGs are being remade, everybody just says HD 2D. It's got to be made that way. Could you imagine an HD 2D Pokemon game? Like the Pokemon and the characters having 2D sprites, but then everything else being whatever else it is. Is it 3D? Is it 2D? I'm not really sure. I think it would work so well. I recently played Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake, and it just looks phenomenal. And I actually find this kind of interesting. When I put the game in my Switch, there was no update at all, and I was like, wow, they shipped this game ready to go. Like, the version they shipped is a version you play, and that is something that does not happen often anymore. And playing through the entire game, I had zero issues at all. So shout out to Square Enix for shipping a complete game. You know, that's something kind of lost in these times. Now a franchise I think we're definitely going to see on the Switch too, but the first thing we're going to see is probably a remake, because there's been rumored that we're going to get that Kirby Wii U game. What is it? Kirby Planet Robobot? Like a remake or something for the Switch. And if that doesn't show up on the Switch, we're probably going to see that first on the Switch 2 as a Switch 2 game. But I would love to see them expand upon Kirby in a Forgotten Land. I will admit right away, I've never been a Kirby fan. I like playing with them in Smash because it's fun when you turn into the block and just land on people's head. That's really awesome. And then you can turn into any of the characters. So I actually use Kirby a lot in Smash. But other than that, I've never really cared about Kirby. The games are whatever to me, or at least they were. But Kirby and the Forgotten Land opened me up entirely to Kirby, and since then I've played a bunch of old Kirby games, and Kirby is just an incredible franchise. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a damn near perfect game in my opinion. And it's one of those games, once I started playing it, I was so addicted to it, like getting new characters and upgrading your characters and going through all of the levels, and the boss fights were actually really fun, and you just kept wanting to progress more and more and find secrets, and they did an incredible job, really an incredible job. And you know what's so funny, at the time, there were games being compared to two games. Like, you would either say, oh, look, Sonic, it's acting like Breath of the Wild here with Sonic Frontiers. Or this game, oh, they're trying to copy Breath of the Wild. Or on the other hand, you had games saying, oh, look, they're copying Super Mario Odyssey. And it seemed like Kirby was getting its Super Mario Odyssey moment. And it kind of was, you know what I mean? I don't know how you can kind of argue against that. But they did it right. And it was so fun. So, Kirby and the Forgotten Land 2? Possibly. But I just hope whatever it is, it's in that same style. There's so many things they could do. New abilities, new bosses, new levels, new worlds, whatever. And I think it's just a very promising future for Kirby. Also, talking about the Switch 2, I'm so excited to see so many special edition Switch 2s. Can we get a Kirby Nintendo Switch 2? Like an all pink Nintendo Switch 2 with Kirby's face on the back? So a game that I cannot believe we did not get on the Nintendo Switch. Well, at least a new entry of it. At least, I don't think so, right? But we got a port, or maybe it was a remake, of Tropical Freeze. And then we got Donkey Kong Country Returns, right? Donkey Kong had returned 3 or 4 times by the time it showed up on the Switch. This cannot be real life. And they charged $60 for this game. Nintendo had to know, like, this was a whatever game, because they also released a Nintendo Switch 2 trailer the same exact day that the game released, so I think that's pretty funny. The last real Donkey Kong game we got that was new was Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze in 2014. By the time the Nintendo Switch 2 is out, we'll be in the middle of 2025. And if it doesn't release in the first year, we're possibly going on 12, maybe 13 years before we get a new entry in Donkey Kong. It just seems like so many missed opportunities, you know what I mean? Because they're not the most taxing game. Could we get a new 3D open world Donkey Kong game? We'll see how that goes, especially from them changing the way Donkey Kong looks in the new Mario Kart game, from like the old rare version of Donkey Kong to the movie version of Donkey Kong. So I wonder if there's something going on there, like legally, that they can't make a new game or something. I don't know, but Donkey Kong, we need a new entry. It's been way too long. A game that I think will really benefit from the hardware of the Nintendo Switch 2 is a new Luigi's Mansion game. Luigi's Mansion 3 came out in 2019, I think, and it is still one of the best looking Nintendo Switch games of all time. Truly looks incredible. So imagine how good a new entry will look on the Nintendo Switch 2. If this does come out, I think it's definitely going to be an October release. So maybe this year, you know what I mean? But if I had to guess, it's probably going to be next year, because we got Luigi's Mansion 2 HD remake or whatever last year. But Luigi's Mansion 4, there's just so many things they can do. I know a lot of people kind of prefer like the actual mansion aspect of the older games, but I really enjoyed the whole hotel aspect. And something I think they could do, now just thinking about it, is like a cruise ship. And the cruise ship is haunted, and each cabin is a new world or new level. That would be so freaking cool. I don't know why that just popped into my head, but man. So a game that I just experienced for the very first time is Wario Land 4. This game is incredible, truly incredible, and the music, Maron, it is so freaking good. I can't believe I slept on it for so long, but when they added it to Nintendo Switch Online, I checked it out. Man, it's so damn good. So, I don't know how long it's been since we had a new Wario Land game. I'll put that on the screen, because I'm just not familiar really with the franchise. I've always played like the WarioWare games, but Wario Land is incredible. Do we say a remake? Like, does everything need a remake? Probably, you know what I mean? Or do they just make a new entry? I don't know if the demand is there for the game, because it's Wario. Actually, why am I even talking about Wario? Where the hell is Waluigi's representation? Like, Waluigi is my favorite Nintendo character of all time. Technically, there is a real Waluigi game that Nintendo made. I actually made a video about it. Go check that out. But where is Waluigi at? So maybe a new Wario Land game or a Waluigi Land game. And a game that's kind of in limbo right now, but I just hope it comes so much. I have such an attachment to it, and I'm not really sure why, but Astral Chain. I think it's one of the greatest things Nintendo has ever created. I know Platinum Games made it, but it's a really special game because it almost seems like there's so much going on in the game to where it's like, how could this work? It's like you have mechs, but they're connected to you by a chain, and there's like aliens taking over the world or something. I can't remember, even though I just beat the game like last month. But you're a cop, and there's just so much going on. But it works so freaking well. It's an incredible game. So I think Nintendo went to Platinum Games and asked them what the hell's going on with the sequel. If you don't fix this, we'll take the IP to somebody else. But then Platinum Games said, no, we are working on it. And I think Nintendo might have gave them a deadline. But then I heard other reports that it's being canceled. I don't know. So this is something I truly hope that shows up on the Nintendo Switch 2, just for the sake of it still being worked on and being a thing. This would be a huge loss, like in the gaming world, because it has so much potential, you know what I mean? And Platinum Games does such great work. So this is something that I think should be a priority for Platinum Games and Nintendo. I think the first game is definitely underrated, definitely a hidden gem. If you have a chance to play it, do that. But ladies and gentlemen, this is just some stuff that I would personally like to see on the Nintendo Switch 2. And some of this stuff, at least in my opinion, has some potential to show up. So in the comments below, as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions. I would love to hear what your most anticipated Nintendo game is for the Switch 2. You know, third-party stuff is going to be whatever, but what do you want to see Nintendo put on the Nintendo Switch 2? I would love to hear from you guys. And if you made it to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor and hit a like and subscribe, that would really mean the world to me. We're like 300 or 250 subscribers away or something from 16,000, so let's hit that goal. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep the community growing. And you guys know me, I will see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.